Hey, Booba.
You ready? Yeah. We the Koenas, baby.
We going. We love, we live, we travel. Hey, Gator Gang. Shucks, I'm riding solo today. It feels very weird, but let's do this. Welcome to Love Live Travel. I am MmaMokoena, a significant half of the Koenas, and yeah, if you're here for the first time, thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure that you subscribe and you share and you like and you comment. We will be sure to engage with you. We love engaging with you. And if you are a returning member of the Gator Gang, we'd like to welcome you. We shower you with love. Here I am saying we because I just feel so weird doing this alone. But yeah, thank you guys so much for the support. So today's video is very exciting. Video or episode, yeah, I don't know. I'm very excited because a few weeks ago we asked you guys to, send us some questions about, anything and everything you want to know about us and our journey and our marriage and our love. But there were a few questions that were directed at me specifically, and they were along that lines, and ideas of shucks, how did I end up in academia? How did I choose my career? How do I navigate, myself as a wife, studying and working? And so this is what today is going to be about. I'm just going to story time my journey to becoming an academic and a lecturer currently, and yeah, how we make it work, guys, amidst everything else that we had to do. So question 1. This is my favorite question to address and to talk about. So growing up, my mom will tell you, if anyone would ask, how did she end up in the arts? My mom always says, when she was a kid, she would always sing in the bath, always. And so that's a summary of how I knew that, man, this is me. It's something I've been doing my whole life. It's something that comes easy. It's something that I don't even think about. I don't break a sweat, and that's just the grace of God. I would say that in all that you become, you will know. And to you who are wondering, am I in the right career? Are my children choosing the correct subjects? You will know. Track your children, how they grow up, and you will see what it is that they can do with all their might, and they don't have to think twice about doing it. And so growing up, my parents invested a whole lot, guys. A whole lot in me being in choirs, me traveling the world because of choir. I was always on stage performing, and so a lot of investment was done in honing that skill, that talent, that gift that I do have. And so I think my high school years were the cornerstone of me kind of figuring out what it is that I wanted to be. So initially when I was 9, my mother fell pregnant, and I was so fascinated with the birthing process, gynecology, and the saunas and the hospital visits. And it was in that moment where I said, okay, I'm going to be a gynecologist. And obviously because I have been academic, I've grown up to be very academic, it wasn't a goal that I couldn't reach. But on the other side of it, I've got my love for the arts. I've got my love for music, for singing, for classical music. When I was 14, I went to music school, and yeah, my journey of being a classical pianist began as well. And that's where it's just like the nudge, how the Holy Spirit will nudge you. I've been nudged that, look, this girl is artistic. And come grade 10, time to choose subjects. Naturally, like we do in Plan B fashion, is you would choose the subjects that will get you into medicine, but you'll do a nice anyana subject to alleviate, all that stress. And so I chose maths, physics, life sciences, and obviously Afrikaans, English. I love that stuff. But I ticked dramatic arts. Yo guys, the drama. Parents get sent, a letter. We've noticed that the pairings that your daughter has made are incorrect, so we recommend that she does accounting instead. And I was just like, whoa, Denise, that is not what we practiced. And so yeah, it was a battle trying to explain that, yeah, I know these subjects don't pay well, but there's something about the arts that I'm not trying to let go of. And so concession was made and I was allowed to choose drama. Can I tell you, by the grace of God, that every year, my whole FET phase, I was always the top drama student. And look, if there's no sign, that you need, there it was. Fast forward to matric. Now it's time to decide. Obviously we're applying. I had UCT in mind to do medicine, and obviously if I wanted to end up doing drama, I thought maybe this. And I applied as well to UCT for drama. But you don't want to be that awkward newbie in the family who goes that way. You know how everyone goes this way when it comes to career choice. You know how parents, their face light up when they speak about, oh, my child's a doctor or a lawyer. So something inside of me didn't want to be that disappointment, and so that's why I felt maybe it's better if I just do go the medical route. So a significant, I think, memory that almost defined, the change in direction was when, my mom and I, we just started praying about it. And we're like, what, let's just give this career choice to God. We'll apply to all institutions, but at the end of the day, I knew that I didn't want to do something that I'd hate, and I didn't want to end up in a career where I'd just throw the certificate in my parents' face and then go follow my dreams. So we went to church. It was a Wednesday service, and I can't really, remember what the title of the service was, but there was a particular moment in Pastor Clement's sermon, and not my husband, but Pastor Clement, he stopped and he said, there's someone in here who has a predicament. They don't know which path to follow between the arts and medicine. And I kid you not, my mom and I, we're just like, because I just felt like, Jesus, is that you? And he went on to say that God has created you in a specific way. He's given you certain talents, certain abilities, and you would be a fool to not use them. And I think that's when I heard directly my message. Making that decision, obviously, like I said, it's not hard. You don't want to disappoint your parents who are so excited about you being doctor somebody. But it took that conversation with them, and saying, look, this is what I want to do, and look, we don't know anyone who has done this and has succeeded, but hey, we trust in God that we're gonna make it through. And I think that's the thing that we fail to do in our walk with Christ, is that we do not completely trust God with all the things, all the resources He's given us, and we second guess it, and we doubt, and we make plan Bs. It wasn't the easiest decision to make, but because I was surrounded by such supportive family, I mean, if anything, I always recall how, my brother was like, dude, I know you're scared, but dude, this is your stuff, so go ahead and do it. And so for those of you, who are probably in places that, in your hearts of hearts that you weren't supposed to be here, but because you didn't get the, the support, the encouragement, I would say, it's never too late, if you couldn't become a musician, go and serve in the church. It's never too late to use what God, has designed and called you to be. And so, so forged through matric. Matric was the hardest year of my life. 2010. That's a story time for another year, but I was bullied throughout my whole matric year, and that could have actually caused me to not make it. And so at the end of the year when I passed, it was just like, wow, God, you got me through. And that's how it is. Every significant moment of your life, or mine specifically leading to my profession and my career, it has had challenges. And I was challenged in such a way that you know that, shucks, if there's this much of a fight on my life about this area, then whoa, it means something great is gonna come out of it. And so yeah, I passed matric, and yeah, I decided to go study drama. And I share a bit about my journey on the master's graduation vlog, so check that one out. But yeah, I do say that I ended up, you know, studying drama. And I always tell people, I think my degree, if you've noticed, I'm not on TV, but I don't think that was the purpose of me studying drama. I think I studied drama to learn how to speak to people, and that degree, you know, it prepared me to be able to do this, and it's prepared me for my call upon life. I know that I've got a calling for people, and I know that I'm called to serve people, and so that's how weirdly I ended up in education. So fast forward, I graduated, and my high school called me up and they said, hey, we need a drama teacher. I didn't study teaching, by the way, nobody knows. I just had my drama degree at the time, and so went to my previous high school, and I think that was like the tipping point. So remember, I experienced bullying at that place, like hardcore, guys. Like sometimes I wouldn't sleep at night. I was even scared who's gonna come for me the next day type of vibe. And so for me to have to go back to that place that brought me so much pain, like I don't want to lie to you, I'd pass some corridors and it's like a scene in a movie where you pass a corridor and you remember who stood there ready to attack you. You pass the matric garden, you see them all standing, you know, in a group ready to attack you, ready to tell you off. And so I had to do so much unlearning when I was there, but also I developed then a passion for education. Funny thing I just thought about, whenever I studied, guys, growing up, I used to teach like the teddy bears and the walls, and I talk to the walls. And so for me, 20 years later, to actually make that connection that actually, shucks girl, you've been teaching, you just didn't know it. And so I taught at the high school for 3 years, and after that I went and I did my master's because I wanted to lecture. And so to lecture you need a master's degree. Some people are out there doing the most without it, and mad respect, that's God's grace and favor upon your life, I would say. The same way I didn't have a PGCE and I taught, and so went and I did my master's, and that's allowed me to get into tertiary institutions. And yeah, that's where I am currently, you know, working, learning, teaching. So yeah, I do know I'm in the right profession, because I do know that when I am standing in front of those students, I know that it's bigger than me. And I know a lot of them, you know, they will never remember what I taught them about the voice and the body and theater history, but I do know that there's certain life skills, there's certain life experiences that we are called to share in this journey of teaching, and those for me have been indelible. You know, for a learner to come back 5 years later and say, you know, ma'am, you taught me, you know, to love myself and to just be courageous. Those are the things that you know, inherit along the way. So yeah, that's how I know I am in the right profession, because I have so much peace with what I'm doing. It's aligned. I love what I'm doing, as hard as it is, but I do not have any regrets. And now I'm doing my PhD, so I'm still going to be a doctor anyway. So shucks, guys. So if you recall from the master's graduation vlog, do check it out. I did mention that, look guys, I've been studying since we've been married. Like, it's the weirdest thing. And I was so annoyed with him because he proposed at a time when I had resigned from work and I had deliberately decided I want to go do my master's degree. And so it was a tough time, but that's the thing. It was this is part of my journey, and this is what I want to do for my life. And so it needs someone who's supportive, it needs someone who's understanding to go on the journey with you, because some people would have easily said, no, you're getting married now, so you need to keep working, because what are we gonna plan the wedding with? Or no, why do you, and so I feel I'm very, very blessed to have someone who's supportive of my dreams, and who said, yes, we are one, but there's certain aspects of your life that you have been called to do. There's certain aspects of his life that he's been called to do, and our journey is to help us help each other get to that next phase of our lives individually. And so for me, I would encourage that those of you who are studying, who are working, who are married, there's still kids in between, find the balance. Find the balance, and tell your partner today, today I've got to finish the rationale section, and so that means I might have to wake up at 4, or that means can we order takeout because I'm not able to cook, or that means, do you get what I'm saying? And so I pray those of you who continue on this academic journey, amidst the husband and the kids, or the wife and the kids, I pray that you are surrounded by supportive people who motivate and encourage you, and they don't have to be the same. Guys, Buba's not as crazy about academics as I am, but look, if you ask him today what a lit review is, he will tell you, because he listens to me share each and every piece of my topic, and it's the most fascinating thing to hear me explain to someone what exactly I do, and that's the beauty, that I'm in such a loving and a warm relationship, and I'm able to just go for my dreams. Where work is concerned, I'm blessed that my master's topic and my PhD topic are very much aligned to my work, so that helps, because as I research, I'm tracking my own process as an educator, and I'm tracking my process of my fellow educators to be able to write my paper. So that's a blessing in disguise, that my work and my studies are always hand in hand. They're one in the other, and so that's what makes it so much easier to get that done. And where my marriage is concerned, guys, you make time. Sometimes you can see, okay, let me give him some time, let's squeeze in the cuddles. You have to, because at the end of the day, this paper is not encouraging you, it's not motivating you, it's not giving you the fuzzy hugs, it's not telling you it loves you. And so you need to be able to balance, and you need to be able to make it work. Yeah, like I said, guys, just because you're married, it doesn't mean you must stop believing or dreaming. It doesn't mean you must stop thinking, about yourself as an individual. Yes, you're called to become one, to grow in one, but that doesn't mean that your purpose dies on its own. And so for those of you who are sitting and questioning and wondering, I'm still studying, how's this marriage thing gonna work? It's going to work. Even with kids, when we eventually have kids, if I'm within pregnancy and I'm within this doctorate, I'm gonna finish this doctorate, guys. Nothing should stop you from achieving what it is that you have been called to achieve. It's not an excuse. So talk to your partner if you do feel, look, this is a critical time in your studies, and more so I'm talking about those who are post-grad. If you've got your undergrad degree, look, man, go ahead and do it. If you're still during your undergrad degree, it also works out, guys. Like I said, if you've got a supportive family, a supportive husband, that should not end. So yeah, pray about it, get through it together. If anything, I would say now's your time while you're still young. Get your studies in, get it done. If I had any regret, I think I would have, after my undergrad, I would have done my master's, done my PhD at the same time. But also my teaching in between has equipped me so much to be able to have done my master's and my PhD. So, don't take any opportunity, don't take any circumstance for granted. Yes, for granted. It will work towards your betterment and your development. I would definitely, look guys, academia is beautiful. Education in itself is a beautiful thing, but I'd always say it's a gift, it's a calling. Not everyone can be a teacher, and that's why, very controversial what I'm about to say, is that my pet peeve is people who they've gone to corporate and they hate it, and then they get a PGC and they think, oh, let me just go teach because I'll get holidays. But you don't really love what you're doing. There's nothing worse in my experience than seeing people who are just teaching because they thought, I'll get a bursary and I'll get a salary. And so to a young lecturer, an aspiring lecturer, number one, this is not a play profession. I think it's my favorite scripture, Romans 12, I think 7. It says those who have been given particular gifts according to the grace of God, something like that. If it is prophecy, then you need to do it with all your might. If it is teaching, then you need to. Do you get what I'm saying? And more so, and I always got scared of the scripture. It said something about teachers will be judged the most, and we thought it's actual teachers. But in anything, if you're in a position to impart some kind of knowledge, you need to make sure that you are doing what it is that you need to do, and you are saying what it is that you need to say. Because a lot of teachers, a lot of people have gone on different paths because of what teachers had said to them. And so there's so much power in the tongue as an educator, as an aspiring lecturer. Things you say telling students, yeah, you'll never make it, those things we may glance upon, but they really do impact the lives of people. So if you are trying to get into the business of changing lives and imparting or exchanging knowledge, rather than one, you need to introspect. You need to introspect. No matter how angry you are, you need to check your language, you need to check yourself, you need to check your life. Remember, you are an example to these people. Hubby would laugh at me, and when I started teaching, guys, I even changed my dress and I changed the places I went to, because I just thought to myself, hectic. Now if I am out here going to homecoming picnic in my short skirt, and then I bump into my students, that level of respect, it almost diminishes. Although you're not saying you're gonna stop living, but because you're on the pulpit, and that's what it is. You're on the pulpit. So check your life, hold yourself accountable, and more so, at the end of the day, like I always say, yes, you are there, you will teach all the content in the world, but there are moments when humanity meets in that moment. There are moments where you act as counselor, you'll act as motivational speaker, you will act as therapist, and so you have to be equipped to deal with those kind of things. So for an aspiring lecturer, honestly, know your content, know what it is you want to teach, know what you're passionate about, because your students can see it. They can see today or you had a bad morning or is not prepared. They can see it. And so know your content, read, research. Also, don't fall into this syndrome where you've taught this work for 5 years that you haven't even updated the stuff, because things are changing. New knowledge is growing. Yes, we're forced to use this textbook that was written 10 years ago, but you need to up your game. You need to be in line with what is happening today. So yeah, I would say for me, just being a lecturer, my master's wasn't enough, and that's why I'm doing my PhD. And along this journey, I'm feeling that I need to grow, and I need to learn more, I need to research more, I need to absorb more, so that when I'm in a position to share, I'm just like overflowing. So as well, don't be stagnant. Take a short course if you can, but in academia, you need to always be a level up. But yeah, it's a beautiful journey, it's a fun journey, it's hard work, but it really is rewarding. yeah, that's what I think, you know, amidst all this talking, I addressed a bit. But at the end of the day, you are all called, we all have a particular purpose in life. We all have a particular purpose that we need to fulfill according to God's will. And your career, you remember, you know, scripture says, I'll bless the hands of your work. You know, there's something about you doing, there's something about you actively pursuing that God is interested in, you know. And so that very thing that he's saying he will bless as a result of you cultivating it, that in fact is your purpose. And so shucks, it's actually quite deep, is that if you're not then in that state of cultivating or working or developing, and you're just laying eggs and you're just sitting there on what God has called you to do, then how on earth do you expect any blessing or movement to come from that, you know, as hard as it sounds? And so yes, I think your career and your purpose work hand in hand. But like I said, for those who weren't able to choose a career that they really love and that really shows who they really are, you've got platforms like YouTube to do this. You've got platforms like church. You know, you can join a club, a book club, if you know, you can join a writers club if that's what you've always wanted to do. It doesn't mean that now you must quit your job, you know, and go follow that thing you wanted to follow. No, you know, find means to come back to it. That's a spicy question, y'all. But I always say that it's unfair because I can't go to Netcare now and want to perform a surgery. Why? Because they'll say I do not have a medical degree, or I am not medically equipped in that knowledge. And so for me, that's why it sucks that a doctor without a drama degree can just walk on set and take our jobs, y'all. And so yeah, it's a very controversial topic. Everyone's talking about it, and for me personally, when my production company is up and running, I'm very sorry, but I'm only going to empower those who took the time, who spent the money, who were dedicated in formalizing the knowledge of the craft. Mad respect to those of you who honestly, and that's why I'm saying, look, sometimes God gives you a talent, and that's what I don't want to look down on. People are given talents. Look, they can sing and they didn't have to study music. They can dance and they didn't have to study dance. That's all fine and dandy, and God bless you for that. We appreciate you. But Mina, personally, in my production company, everyone is going to have a degree or some form of certificate or qualification to prove that you take this craft seriously, that you woke up every morning and you worked on your instrument, you honed in on that body. You look, I'm not even gonna play, I'm not even gonna negotiate with that, and yeah, you can take me to the cleaners. But as for Father Smoke Productions, I'm only going to empower those who, you know, saw fit to educate themselves on the craft. But for those who wake up in the morning, mad respect, mad love, and go ahead and follow your dreams as well. So yeah, that was us in my little career corner, career calling corner. How cool is that? I hope yeah, I was able to answer some of your questions, you know, with integrity and some understanding and some wisdom on my part. I pray that each of you, you know, who is watching this, who is on your journey to discovering your calling or your purpose, I pray that you're aligned, and I pray, you know, you have an angel assigned to you to deliver that message if you're not hearing Holy Spirit in you. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, but you're lucky, you got to go to church and the pastor spoke directly to you. That's relationship, man, with God, is that, you know, I pray that you're so aligned that you can hear his voice and, you know, he can lead you. For those of you who have children, for those of you who, you know, didn't have as much support in pursuing exactly what you initially wanted to do, worry not. That's the beauty in God, is that he'll always take you back. Your time is not lost. God is able to bring back the time. He's able to replenish and replace the time that you think you have lost. And so who knows, maybe in your retirement of that boring job, you'll end up doing what it is that you were meant to do, and everything that you have learned before that, it's just a stepping stone and it's tools to get you to where you are. Those of you who have kids, look at your kids as they grow up, observe them. What is it that they can do? Don't make the mistake of looking down on their abilities because it's not in line with your expectation. And so I encourage you to support them, support their dreams, observe them, find what it is that they do the best. And if they say, Mom and Dad, I want to be a duck, man, you better support that duck with everything that you want, because that duck is going to flourish. You flourish where you are planted, and if it's in the right place, you will grow. There's nothing that's going to stop you. There's nothing that's going to get into the way of you achieving God's intended purpose for your life. And so that is me sending you all the love, all the warmth and the good vibes. Until we meet again, see you later, alligators. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.